Hi there, thanks for joining me. Today I want to do a quick project. I want to use SewWhatPro to create a snap tab napkin ring. And it's going to be snap tab because that's my preference, but you can go ahead and sew it together at the back. You can use Velcro. It's totally up to you how you choose to close this out. I just want to give you kind of the basic idea that you can do this. And you can use it with almost any design, but designs that are smaller on the bottom and wider at the top are going to be more preferred. Like if you have an M, it's going to bend your M a lot if that M is really flourishy at the bottom. But if you have a W, it'll make it'll be easier to make your tabs. So I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. And I'm going to create these for my best friend that lives in California. Their family is not going to be able to come up for Thanksgiving this year, and they came up last year, which was such a blessing. But they probably won't be able to make it this year, and I want them to know that I'll miss them um, and I'll be thinking of them. So I'm going to make them some pretty napkin rings with their initials on it. So I'm going to go up here to File, and I'm going to choose Open. You can also choose this little folder here, and I'm going to pick a W because their last name is Weeks. Okay, and I'm going to choose a size that I think works best for me. I don't want it to be much bigger than 3, but I don't want it to be down at 2 inches either. So I'm going to choose this one that's 311, and if I need to make it smaller, I will. Okay, I'm going to choose Open. And that was the Planet Applique Planet Applique Royal Monogram font, okay? And it ended up being way bigger than I actually wanted to be. So I'm going to choose resize, and I want my height to be about 2.85. Let's see. Choose OK. Okay, it doesn't look like it's that big of a difference, but it's that big of a difference, okay? All right, so let's choose the border tool now. And we're going to put a bean stitch around this W, okay? So mine is already set to my bean stitch because I did a practice run, but yours might be set at different things. So go up here and we're going to have auto border is what we want. And we want to make sure it's a little bit away from the pattern. If you get it too close to the pattern, it tries to go into all the little holes and everything. So you want it to be farther away from the pattern. So 2 is a great distance from the pattern for most things. You're going to choose the bean outline. Make sure that your top number is smaller than your bottom number for the bean. If you're doing satin, it's the other way around. Okay, so 2 is my favorite. 20 is going to be a nice one for this project. But you always want to kind of try them out, see what you like before you commit to anything. So we're just going to choose OK. And it's going to go all the way around. It even went up inside there. So that's awesome. That's what we wanted to do. It's going to be really pretty. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to add some tabs to it so that we can fold it around our napkins. All right, so we're going to go back up here to the border tool. We're going to do custom border. And let's zoom in. And the reason we want our grid on is because we need to be able to make these tabs, and the grids help us keep everything in line, okay? So depending on where you have a nice slim spot kind of right in the middle, that's where you want your tabs to go, okay? And go all the way as close to the edge as you feel comfortable. And if you really want it to be perfect, spend your time. I don't want to waste a lot of time trying to show you guys because I think that you're smart enough to figure out, that you need to work a little bit harder for stuff that you want to be really good. Okay, so we just did we did a rectangle that left one edge open. Okay, so we're going to click Save Border Stitch on that one. And then we're going to come over here to this side and we're going to do the same thing. Oops. Oh, not without choosing the border tool again. Custom border again. Okay, so then we'll start right here and go over here. See how my line is all wobbly? You're not going to want that. So you'll choose cancel and start over. but for the sake of this, it'll be all right. Okay, and we're going to click Save Border Stitches, and that's going to give us our tab. Okay, and then we're going to poke holes in there and we're going to put our tabs in. I'll show you all that in a minute. Alrighty, so what we're going to do from here is we're going to go to Edit and Join Threads. We want our black threads to be all the same color. Join all adjacent threads of same color. Okay. Okay, so it's going to print out, it's going to sew out our W first, and then it's going to go around it with this black. Okay, so I'm going to have it actually run twice. Let's see, edit, copy, then you have to click out, and then edit, paste. Okay, and that's just going to put it right over the top of it. And then we're going to go to Edit, Join Threads, click OK. That's going to sew that whole thing twice, okay? And that's going to make it stronger for me. But what we're going to do is we're going to put our stabilizer on there. We're going to put the felt down, just floating it onto the stabilizer. We're going to hoop our stabilizer, float the felt. It's going to sew out the W. And then we're going to take it off of the machine. We're going to place our felt on the back, a blank piece of felt on the back, and then we're going to let it run. We're going to tape that onto the back at the top and the bottom, and then we're going to let the bean stitch run twice around this W, and that's going to create our adorable little napkin ring. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the machine. I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay guys, to prepare for this part, we're going to need our embroidery hoops, some stabilizer, and some felt. Okay, and this isn't really stabilizer, but I use it for stabilizer all the time, and especially for colored stuff. Okay, it's a fantastic stabilizer. And I got it at Joann's on the clearance bin for 25 cents for this little pack of 3. But I think that they're still only like $2 for a pack. And you can find them at Hobby Lobby as well, and on the Bolt at Hobby Lobby and Joann's. So, and if I find an Amazon link for it, I'll put that in the description. Okay, so we're just going to cut one piece of the yellow Ollie Fun. We're going to get it hooped in there very nice and stiff. Okay, then we're going to cut around it. Okay, set that aside. All right, and then we are just, because it's so simple with the felt, we're just going to cut it in half. We're going to cut it into quarters. This makes it super simple because it already is the right size when you buy it in the, I just believe it's 8.5 by 11 size sheets of felt. Okay, so cut our pieces, our front and our back. Set the rest aside, and then we will grab our embroidery scissors and head over to the machine. Okay, now that we're over at our machine, I wanted to remind you guys to make sure that your bobbin thread and your top thread are the same. This is especially important when you're doing satin stitching, and just for the general overall look of this project that we're doing, we want both the top and bottom threads to look the same. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to hoop our stabilizer. Okay. And we're going to float our piece of felt. And then we're going to come up here. In my machine, mine's a Brother SE425. I choose this button here, and there's my design. Okay. And I'm going to upload it, and we know it's already not going to be perfect whenever it does its stitch out because I didn't take the time to digitize it correctly. or to line it up correctly, I guess is the right word. So let's go. Just with that knowledge, I just wanted to let you know. I know it's not going to turn out that great for the wings as far as the stitching is, but it'll still be cute. Okay, so first thing it's going to do is the monogram. Okay, so now we're going to pop it off of here gently. Gently rock it off. Okay, oh, that turned out so nice. Well, let's zoom out so that it would actually look at it nicely. Super pretty. And that's the back. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to flip over our hoop. Okay. And we're going to take just regular clear sticky tape, if I could find it. Just regular clear Scotch tape is what most people around here call it, but it's just regular clear tape, or any tape. Painter's tape works really good too. Okay, so we're going to set this back on here, and this little guy's kind of worrying me, so I'm going to tape him down too. A little bit. Hopefully that doesn't get in the stitch line. Okay. All right, and so we'll put our presser foot down, zoom you back in, and press start. Remember that we programmed it to go over it twice, so it's getting ready to do that again. And the wonderful thing about this program is that even though my lines were messed up, it still came out so nice. It's hard to see on here, but it didn't show that mess up that I had. Okay, so I'm going to press play so it can redo that stitch again. Okay guys, it's all done. I'm so excited. So here she is. Now somebody more patient and a little bit more forethought would go in and delete these sides of the W's, or at least do something that would make it where it all stitches out at one instead of doing these jumps. Okay, jumps are the pits, but they're not the end of the world. So we're going to go ahead and just trim off our jump stitches. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it out and meet you guys back over at my ironing board and put the snaps on. All right, see ya. Okay, so we're back over here. I'm just going to go ahead and pop it out of my hoops and set my hoops aside. Okay, and then, oh, sorry, we're going to trim off our back stuff too. So much easier when it's on the hoops still because there's some tension. But that's okay. Okay, so we're just going to go right in and we're going to cut around. Okay, and if you hate doing this cutting part as much as I do, and you think ahead as much as I don't, and you can program you can use SewWhatPro to cut out SVGs for your appliques. If you have a cutting machine like a Cameo, Silhouette Cameo, or Cricut, or Brother Scan and Cut, you can create SVGs to do your applique with it, and then cut out your pieces on your Scan and Cut. Well, on my Scan and Cut, I haven't used it for that yet. I just haven't taken the time, which is funny because I'm doing applique all the time, but like I said, I don't really think ahead very good. So if you're a better think aheader, or you're going to be doing these in mass, a cutting machine would be awesome. Okay, so there's our W that's going to go around. Let's get rid of that excess. So there's our napkin ring, and like I said, you can do it with any design, but it's best if you have a skinnier bottom because it's going to need to wrap around something, and you don't want your bottom to be the whole thing. You want your top to have a little bit more, or even if it's something that's bigger on the top and big on the bottom too, just you want your middle to be skinny, I guess is all I'm really getting at. Okay, so we take our pliers. I got these from camsnaps.com, and I will put a link in the description for that. This is a cute little container I got at the dollar store. So I'm going to grab okay, so you'll need the female and the male piece. Male, female, and then the tops. Okay, and we'll put that back on. It's kind of a puzzle putting it back together. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just put our, let's go ahead and do this so they're the same. And be careful what you're poking through. I know what I'm poking through, but just kind of think about it a little bit. Oops, that did not work how I wanted. Okay, don't do that. Just poke your hole. Okay, and then put your first ones through, and you want the dot part to be on the top. Okay, oop. Well, it doesn't matter if it's top or bottom, but you don't want the soft smooth part to be on the bottom. You want this one to be right on the top. Okay, it doesn't matter if you use male or female. Just put them on there, and then once you got them in the ready for the pliers, you're just going to want to get it seated in there. It's kind of got to finagle it a little bit, but you'll get it. Okay, and you just want to hold it down for a second, and that's going to put your snap on. Okay, and then we want it to go around and snap on top of this one. Okay, and I think if I would have thought about it a little bit better, I maybe would have made this side a little bit longer, but let's see how it goes. Okay, okay, yeah, so this side we're gonna have go under, and you do want the other piece to be on the top on this side. Okay, remember to smash it in there. Okay, and then we're gonna fold up our napkins, better than this, of course. Okay, the bigger the hoop you have, the more fun you can have with this design. And if you do use this design, please post in the SewWhatPro or SewWhatPro groups and show me, because I love to see if this worked for you. Okay, so there's a cute napkin ring that they can dress up their table with if they choose to. I'm going to make them a bunch of them in fall colors. They have 4 children between the 2 of them, and they have a lot of dinners. They cook a lot of really good food at home. So, all right, I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.